These are elderberry. Well, hello everyone. I have a funny story to tell you before we begin. This video is all about that crazy scrappy skirt that I made, and it is finished and it fits well. I'm wearing it right now, as a matter of fact. I even just got back from wearing it to Walmart to go grocery shopping. Oh, and in mentioning Walmart, I wanted to talk about these cookies. These are sugar-free cookies. Sugar-free stuff is exploding right now because I think they got permission to use some kind of a alcohol sugary stuff, maltitol or something, as a sweetener, and it tastes pretty good. And so now they're making chocolates and cookies and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, so I'm having a nice cup of tea, of Yorkshire tea, Yorkshire Gold, and I'm going to dip these. These are shortbread cookies. I'm going to dip that into my tea and see what I think. Okay, so funny story about the skirt. Okay, so I'm going to Walmart and I have all my stuff. I have bags for shopping, and I have my purse, and I have a big cup of coffee, and I have a plate full of toast and little clementine sections, and I mean, it's busy. So I'm taking stuff out to the car, and then I want to go back and get some recycling that I was going to take. But my purse is in the car. My house keys are already in the car. I was just going to lock the door and go out. Okay, so I go back in the house. I get the recycling. I walk out the door. I lock the door behind, and I walk out the door and I close it very firmly. I have to do that on this old house. So the door's locked, and I try to walk away, and my long, lovely, new, scrappy skirt is caught in the door. So I'm standing there attached to my house. The door is locked and I cannot unlock it. My house keys are in the car, which I can see down the stairs off the deck. There's traffic going by in the front of the house, and I don't think anybody can see me, but I'm like, what do I do? I'm yanking on my skirt, and some of the hem comes out, but I mean, I got a good, it's a long skirt. It comes down to my ankle. And yes, so I'm stuck. What do I do? So I'm pulling. I'm actually leaning against the door, hoping to open it just a little bit so I could tug that skirt out. And I'm like, do I have to unbutton the waistband, slip out of this skirt? I'm not wearing a slip. Leave the skirt on the deck attached to the door, walk down to my car in my underwear and get my house keys. I was like, I don't think I can do that. I mean, I'm a bold woman, but I'm not that kind of bold. Oh my gosh, because there's this farm next door. What if some of those farm guys drove in? Okay, so finally I just pull on it really. Actually, finally I start to slide it, slide the hem that's caught up the door jamb, and it finds the spot and it comes out. But I was like, huh. And I thought a thought that I have thought before. You know how women these days, advanced women, modern women don't like to have doors held for them. But there was a time when before a woman could go through a door, either way, to go in or to come out, you had to have a man there to open it for you, okay? And I've often thought, because I wear these really long skirts, and they're big and they're swirly, and there was a time when women had huge skirts where you wouldn't even be able to reach to close the door behind you past the extent of your big skirt. Think Scarlett O'Hara kind of skirt. But even these long skirts, they get caught in the door, and it's an inconvenience if you can reopen the door. But what if the door locks behind you? What if I did? I mean, that's just not even imaginable, to have to slip out of your clothes to go get your key. The solution is, of course, to have someone who opens and closes the doors for you so that you get clear of the door and they close it for you, which was the purpose of men, so that we could wear long skirts. I love long skirts. Okay, that's enough yammering on about that. I want to show you the finishing of this skirt, and I did have to fuss with the closure at the top for a long time, and my final solution was to put it on and have it meet nice and flush in the back and pin it together. And then unbutton it, take it off with the pin still in it. So I pinned it so that I could slip it off my hips. And then I just recut and sewed everything so that it fit that way. Yeah, the pinning helped, which is, of course, what tailors do. All right, so I hope you appreciated my funny story. I hope that's never happened to you, and I hope it never happens to me again, because next time I might not be able to get my hem out the door. Hello, everybody. Well, I have spent the morning happily sewing away on this very strange skirt. I got, with difficulty, I got the waistband and the yoke put together. I really, really like this batik. It's my favorite one, and there's not a lot of it. So I had to do some piecing together there to get enough. This is almost like a wraparound skirt. Like, I want it to overlap on one side and have a button closure. But I don't want the whole side to be open. I just want a little bit of a kind of a slit gap so I can get it in. And then I put a little bit of elastic on the back of the yoke and of the waistband. And so it's all attached to the yoke now. I've got some little threads still hanging around. Anyway, now I'm attaching the yoke to the main body of the skirt, and I'm doing this with little clips. And let me show you. I had to start over because I'm trying to figure out how much gather I want in this. Okay, so this is only clipped or pinned. I know some people would say pinning. This is the center here of the front. I did put some really nice fusible interfacing just in the front of the waistband. My husband loves to order things from a company called Wawak, W-A-W-A-K. It's a sewing suppliers in the U.S. He gets their little catalogs in the mail, and they have really good stuff. So they sent some freebies one time, and this fusible interfacing was in there. Very nice. So this is, I'm going to try to get some significant puckering here. The nice thing is that the yoke will lie flat with the waistband in the front, a little bit of elastic, as I said, in the back. And so this gathering won't happen on my body until it gets down to lower hip. And I find that more comfortable than having all this extra fabric right up around my waist all the time. So I'm going to finish clipping all of this and then run it along with a seam and see how it looks. All right, now we are putting the waistband, now that we're putting the yoke and the skirt body together, and I'm doing the end of it that is not going to go into the back elastic, but is going to go almost pretty soon into the front. Now this is pretty busy. Lots of clips, lots of layers. I'm doing about a 3.5 inch, 3/8 of an inch, a little over 3/8 of an inch seam allowance here. Make sure sure I catch everything, but don't have too much bulk. Now these pleats are designed to open away from the middle of the front of the skirt, which is what I prefer. Although as you're doing it, it looks the opposite. Many of you have learned the hard way how these little pleats work. And they end up going the wrong way if you're not careful. Some of these fabrics are just my very favorites of the batiks, and some of them I don't love quite as much, so but they're all in there, and I'm liking the combinations so far. This is a very exciting part of making this skirt, because this is really when it starts to come together after all the hard work of sewing the scraps together. I'm going to trim this seam off just a teeny bit when I get done, because as you can see, some of these scraps were a little longer than others. So I did only clip half of the skirt, mostly because I ran out of clips, but just because it is so bulky. Then I'll look at it, and then I'll do the second half of this. I keep on thinking I'm sewing the waistband, but of course I'm not. I'm sewing the yoke to the skirt body. I do like that look. The skirt that I'm wearing right now is a skirt that's kind of designed like this, and it's one of my very favorite skirts. It has holes in it now, and it's rather rough. I got it at the thrift store, but I do like that aspect of its design. I feel like I could almost do it without clips going the other way. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I might keep on going. I'm going to turn this off though, and I'm going to finish the second half and reverse the pleats, obviously, as I go the other way, so that they are doing what I want them to do. All right. Okay, first let me show you this skirt. This is the one I was talking about. See how it has this yoke right here? The entire waistband is elastic, which is fine. Sometimes in hot weather, though, that even though the elastic, it's not embedded in the waistband, it's kind of in this part of the skirt, and that can get a little sticky. And so you have the yoke, and then you have a bit of gather here, and then at the bottom you have another panel of gathering. So this comes below, this main body comes below the knee, you know, a couple inches below the knee, and then you have the rest of it even more down there. And I've got some fabric I've made, some scrap fabric I'm going to put down there. Now let's look at this skirt. So far, boy, that panel in the front is quite dark, isn't it? Might rotate that or something. Didn't realize how dark that was compared to the others. It is a beautiful fabric, but the tone doesn't blend in well. Anyway, so I'm going to move it around so you can see. I haven't finished the final seam yet, but this is what's happened. I've got plenty of overlap for the waist, but the hip is a different matter. The bottom of the yoke doesn't quite get there. And I need to be able to get into the skirt. And I don't want it to be snug right here. That's right under the belly, and you really don't want that to be snug. And in spite of how much I have here, you know, I got it. I only had to cut out 2 strips so that all of this fabric gathered into the length around of this yoke. So I might have to cut another panel probably of this. This is going to go underneath and extend that and then put these two back on to join that together and have just, I even left a little bit of this here. I thought, yeah, I tucked it in there. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I realized I was going to need a little bit more, but I don't need it at the top. I needed it toward the hip area. So I think I'm going to have to fiddle with that some. But boy, I made a lot of progress for today. The waistband does feel good. Is it too crazy? Is it too crazy? We shall see. If I just wear it around the house, it'll be fun. My favorite part is this. I really, really like this. You can see it's not long enough. Got to be a little bit longer. Okay, I'm sorry I took my microphone off that I was wearing. Hope you could hear all that talking about yolks and such. All right, I may be done with this for today. That was pretty fun.